What is going on, guys? We are hanging out in the shop. Today we got the first build video of the winter. It is going to be my first and probably only customer build, as you can tell by the title. The reason I say that is because I'm still not that confident in all of my capabilities, fabrication skills for RCs. Yeah, I'm just not that confident, and who I'm building it for is actually a really good friend, and many of the King of the Mountain drivers have probably already figured it out, but he's a really good friend. He saw mine, he fell in love, he's another Nitro enthusiast, so I told him I would build him one for next race season over the winter, and that's kind of what I'm doing, so that's what you guys are going to see. And I'm sorry to those that have asked about me building them something. Maybe down the road, I may do some more customer builds. But the other thing is time. YouTube is just a hobby for me. As many of you know, I still work 40 hours a week, full-time job, and I still have kids, wife, and a life. So, yeah, I just don't have all that much free time to put myself to being able to commit myself to do builds for other people in a timely manner. This one is obviously for a friend, so I'm pretty much building it over the winter, which gives me absolutely plenty of time. Actually, the time this video comes out, it is actually already going into paint, and it is all cleaned up, and I actually ordered the paint that the color that I'm gonna paint it, which I'm not saying anything because I know the customer is watching. So I'm not giving that away, but at the end you guys will see a sneak peek of it all cleaned up, so make sure you watch to the end. Another thing is this was filmed over a period of about 3 weeks or so, so if I repeat myself in the video, I'm sorry. I just try to make sure I hit on everything, and sometimes I forget that I mentioned it already, so I'm sorry if I repeat myself a couple times in this. And the last thing is, this is filmed a lot differently, even though it is still a half an hour video. Normally this probably would have been about a 3 or 4 part video. I would have done it a very detailed video and shown everything. But I've done videos like that in the past, and maybe it's just because I was just starting YouTube and my editing skills weren't all that great. I mean, they're still not all the best, but I feel like I've gotten a lot better. But anyway, the older build videos, they just don't do that great. Any of you know that have a YouTube channel, doing a build video is a lot of editing, and that's a lot of time. I'm not going to put that much time into a video if nobody's going to watch the whole thing or give me any feedback on what's going on. If they like it, if they don't like it, if they want shorter. So for this one, I just kind of did a highlighted build video. I give you progress updates as I move through the build. So definitely, please like, comment, let me know what you guys think. And if you guys want to see more build videos, I'm going to show a sneak peek in a few minutes or a few seconds of the next build video that's going to hit the channel. And it was already on the channel last year. We did all the body modifications, I guess you could call it, on the rat rod. So the rat rod is coming back to the channel and is getting a chassis, and we're going to finish it off hopefully. So that is actually already being filmed. So there's a lot more build videos coming, and I really hope you guys enjoy this, and let me know what you guys think. Alright, enjoy. Let's get into the build. Oh, here's your sneak peek at the rat rod. And I forgot to mention that at the beginning of this, I wasn't sure if I was going to film it, so we actually skipped ahead a little bit, and I got a little bit of progress done when the video actually starts. Alright, let's go. Well, I stayed up a little late last night and got the other side done. So now we got both sides mounted. And if you're curious about how it's going to be set up, I'm obviously going to reinforce some of this. So yeah, don't mind my crap welds. I got to get ample power out to my shed to run my welder because I don't have enough power out here. I got to get my own line out here. But anyway, I'm dealing with what I got, trying to get my welder to do a semi-decent weld for me. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at right now, and I still gotta, the next step is probably gonna be connecting these two, some kind of brace in between here. That way I can cut all the extra off and start moving forward with how far I'm gonna stretch it, which is probably gonna be about the same as mine. Well, I'm kind of doing a horrible job at filming this and keeping you guys up to date, but went to go get another Kyosho chassis. This is a Kyosho Truggy, Nitro Kyosho Truggy chassis. As you see, I just cut the front of it off because I need the front of it, as I said before. So I'm going to clean this up and take all the crap off of it, mount up the front end, and then we can start mounting everything. And I gotta stretch this one side, so we gotta make a brace and do a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, you'll see. Well, it is officially able to roll around. Got that all mounted up last night. I still gotta cut these little ears off, but the servo's just sitting there so I can get an idea of where the servo needs to be. I got another Kyosho, see if I can open this with one hand. Got another servo mount to cut up, because this is pretty much the same thing that I used for mine, because I obviously sacrificed another Kyosho Truggy. But big shout out to my buddy Dan for giving me the parts Truggy. Unfortunately, we had to cut another chassis in half, but that's the sacrifices you have to make to build a sand rail, or build anything pretty much. But yeah, so moving forward, if I remember where my 1/4" rod is, there's 1/4" rod around here somewhere. But as you see, obviously the 3/16 rod isn't going to be enough. We already knew that. So I'm probably going to do another rod, 1/4" rod from here to there, and that'll strengthen that up. And then also to put some more strength into that tab, probably going to do something like this, but I want to bump it out so it's kind of be like that. So I'm going to have to put a bend at that end, and then probably carry it down somewhere like that and like that. Same thing on the other side. I actually got my brake lever in there so I don't mess up and put anything in the way like I did for mine. That way we can use the stock Savage brake and I don't have to come up with anything extra. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm going to be working on, is putting that 2 rods in the bottom and giving it some more structure. And once I'm happy with that, we can start making it actually look like a sand rail. Alright, so we got these 2 1/4" solid rod pieces welded in, well, tacked in, and that's definitely a lot stiffer, but I think I'm still going to do, it's going to be a pain in the ass, but I think I'm going to try to cut maybe a little sliver of the solid rod, or maybe I'll just tack it, build up a tack, and connect these 2 right in the middle, because I'd put that one there so it actually drops down lower than the transmission. That way, in case it gets hit on rocks or whatever, or anything, the brake disc and everything is all safe being up there. That way it'll be protected, just like mine is, but this one's obviously a little different, so it's throwing new curveballs at me, which I love. I love building, so I'm gonna either tack that in or cut something in there and tack it in. But either way, we're going to strengthen this a little bit more, and then I'm going to strengthen these two back tabs because they're only welded on this one tab right here. These two are welded together, or they will be. There's only a tack on there right now, but yeah. So I want to do, like I said before, the rod probably out here. That way it can come down, and I'll come down to somewhere over here. And this is probably going to get built up a little bit. That way it's kind of level. Well, that took way longer than I thought, but I got it to clear pretty much everything. And I also noticed that on mine, I didn't notice it before, but if you look at where my servo is, it actually sticks out down below the skid plate, which obviously you don't want that. So for this one, I've actually moved it up, and that's kind of why I put this bar all the way down. I was going to make it come down to just here, but also to make it kind of look a little better rather than cutting it off right there, I just brought it all the way down. And once I put some tabs on this, you can see that the servo is way above the skid plate, so it'll be nice and safe now. And then I also took me so long because I was making sure it was going to clear everything. Get it in there. That's just the stock Savage header, so you can see that the pipe will pretty much, it can't really come down any further, because if it does, it'll be sitting on the roto start or pull start, whatever's on there. So it really can't come down any further. So that's pretty much where it's going to be. And then that way I made sure that cleared. And then the other side, turn it around without burning the crap out of myself, because I just tacked it together. You can see that it's all just kind of sitting in there, but it's upside down because I don't have the actual piston in there. But just to get the idea of where the brake lever is going to be, because that's the Savage brake, which is one thing I screwed up on mine. I had to build my own brake system off the front. Don't mind my garbage welds. I have a crappy welder, and yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress. But anyway, it welds, it holds stuff together. But so now I pretty much got to do the same thing for the other side, and make sure it clears the brake lever, because where this one is kind of brought out around, and then it's brought down. So I might have to sneak it on either one of the sides, probably the outside. That way it clears the brake lever. So I'll turn it back on when I do all that. Here we go, guys. I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely all reinforced. What was that? Servo. But yeah. So I think today's Sunday. Napa was closed, and I think I'll be taking a trip to Napa tomorrow to buy some brake line. I'm probably going to do it the same way I did mine, and do it with I believe I used 1/4 inch brake line, so we're probably going to use that and start making a cage for this thing, actually making it start to look like a sand rail. But some of the things that I've changed so far between the first version that I did and this one is obviously the mounts. I haven't tried it yet, but in theory, the transmission should just be able to pull right out of there once it's unbolted. Same thing with all that. The rear axle comes off really easy because that just kind of slides off. But the transmission in mine was kind of a pain in the ass to get out. So we made this one a lot easier. We also clearanced so I can actually use the brake. It's spinning all the way around because there's no piston in there, but the brake normally operates like that. So that'll be operational. And then I might have to put the camera down for this for a second, but you'll get the basic idea. I think I was going to use
that side, something like that. 0 in there. Make a couple tabs off of this. Cut that mount in half like I did the other one. And then we'll have a steering mount. I'm not going to worry about this brace because once I tie in the cage is going to be tied into up here, kind of like how mine is. So it'll have a tie-in point right there. And yeah, pretty happy with it. Got everything else clearanced out and reinforced everything. Pretty happy with how it's going. My weld's getting a little bit better. I think I got my welder kind of sort of dialed in. It has like literally all of 3 settings, so there's not really all that much I can do, but getting proper power out to my shed would be a good start. Future projects. Anyway, yeah, that's probably going to do it for tonight. I'm probably going to head in and go relax for a little bit, but we'll continue this project another day. Well, another night in the shop. Went to Napa and got some 1/4-inch brake line. I kind of started bending up a couple pieces. Got one for each side. So, trying to get the idea. I'll probably show you on my phone. Yep, now you all know my birthday. What we got here? So this is kind of, you can see, I'm just looking at random crap online, whatever shows up for sand rails. That's actually a die-cast model, but you can kind of see my inspiration and something like that. So I want to go a lot wider than mine. Well, not a lot wider than mine, but wide enough to where the exhaust isn't right up against the side panel and it's so close together. So I want to give a little bit more room for everything. So I made these, which are going to kind of go like that ish, and that's going to kind of give me how wide I want it. That way I can start doing everything else. Once I get how wide I want it, then I can start doing kind of the outline of the actual chassis. And I don't know if I'm going to tell him yet, but I'm going to do something a little special in the front. That shock tower is probably going to disappear, if that gives you a hint of what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, I can't really get rid of the back shock tower because it'd be kind of a pain in the ass, but I think I'm going to try to get rid of that front one. Well, we got those two tacked into place, and I think I'm going to play on some brake line now and start bending up some stuff. I do have a piece of, in case you guys are looking for tricks, I have a piece of coat hanger that I keep just rebending just to get an idea of stuff, so I can not have to waste actual metal. I can just rebend this and kind of get it to the shape that I need, or roughly, just to see if ideas are going to work. Just kind of something I use. Well, we got a little bit of progress. We got the first hoop in, so I can start kind of laying everything out from there. The next step is probably going to end up being probably bending a couple to come down, but I got to redo the front, so yeah, one of those moments. Lots of thinking. I'll get back to you. Well, we're back at it. As you see, I got the whole front end taken apart. We got one piece of brake line started to bend up, which then made me realize that I got to take off the shock tower. This, and you see the lines that rough lines that I made on it. So we're gonna cut up a really nice shock tower and get rid of it and make more work for myself. But the overall look should be totally worth it. And that's what we're left with. You'll see why I did that in a second. Alright, so a lot of time later, and I bent up this one piece. As you can see, I just got it taped into place. Trying to get an idea of what it's going to look like and the next step that I want to take. But you can kind of see why I cut the shock tower away. We're going to make our own shock tower. That way I can get this all the way out front and kind of put the shocks where I want them. I mean, not that I really need to change them that much, but... And then I figured we'd do a little, kind of like 2 little bars down, and I got to tie into the bottom skid plate. That way it'll have a little protection up front. And then I also want to do a top mount on this. They have this little brace, like most stock truggies do, or buggies. But I think I'm going to use, probably tie into up here, like I did on mine. Kind of see I just tied it in and then bolted it. A lot stronger than that one little brace. So yeah, so I think the next step for me is going to probably be mounting this up, which I'll end up tacking that and kind of get the spacing, or what is going to be the side panels or the side of it, try to get them even and kind of get them where I want them. Not too tall but not too skinny. Unlike mine, this one sits a little bit lower, but I want to hide more of the exhaust. Not really necessarily to hide it, just to make it look a little cleaner, I guess. Well, it is another night in the shop, and we got some more progress done. We got the whole front end all mounted up. Got the shocks mounted to the cage this time, instead of like mine, where I just use the normal whole front end of the Kyosho truggy. On this one, or on this one, I cut the shock tower and made my own mounts. Try to give it more of that sand rail look. I just got this first piece bent up for the side, so we can kind of start getting an idea of what it's going to look like, if that would stay on there. But yeah, so I think I'm probably gonna get these two bent up, bend up another one the same exact size, and cut it all to match. Probably get those in, or I might start doing all the mounts. I gotta make a servo mount and get the linkage for the throttle and the brake, get that all situated, get the servo where I need it so I can make that mount. And then I also obviously need to make a mount for the steering, so I'm probably going to do that and that. And I also need to make a mount for a gas tank, which I need to pick out of my assortment of crap over there. So we're going to pick out a gas tank, make 2 servo mounts, and then we can move forward with the rest of the cage. It just makes it a lot easier to not have the rest of the cage in the way before I do all the mounts. So I'm going to do that first, and then we can move on to the back, and that'll be pretty much the last part of the fab work. Then we can go up to finish welding this whole thing, cleaning it up, and taking it all apart, getting it ready for paint. Well, it's been like a day since I turned the camera on. Sorry. Trying to film this a little bit different. Normally I do a little more detailed builds, but honestly those videos don't do all that well, so I'm not going to put too much effort into making it a super detailed build video if nobody's going to watch it. So anyway, you guys are getting kind of like little progress updates, and as you see, we got dug into my parts bin and got a full throttle linkage and brake linkage for the Savage, and got that set up. I also got the mount in there for the throttle, so that'll work. Once I finish weld, it won't move like that, but everything's just tacked in together. So, but we got steering mount for, or steering servo mount, sorry. Got that all situated. That one's completely done. I just gotta, I really want to find, I don't have any more pieces of aluminum. That's the only piece of aluminum I have. And I need some more angled aluminum to make another mount for the servo mount, because I don't want to use metal, because I don't want to make it too heavy. It's already going to be heavy enough. So I'm trying to cut down on weight as much as I can. So I'm gonna have to get another piece of angled aluminum for that. And what else do we got going on? All right, so I mentioned before that I was picking out stuff, and we got this brand new battery and receiver box. Obviously it's Team Kyosho from all the Kyosho truggies that I had, and this was something else brand new that I just kind of put together. So something I had laying around, and hopefully we're going to make it fit in there, but it's going to be a really tight fit with the servo, the box, and the gas tank. As you see, I went through my assortment of about 20 gas tanks and picked out 2 that I liked and were clean, and obviously a little less work for me to clean all the grime off of them, but they were all pretty much the same size except for this one where it has kind of like that little angle on it. And I think, I'm really hoping that the servo is going to be like right here, right in that little spot, so I can mount this tank right here and then maybe have the box. I don't know. It's going to be a really tight fit. I'd like to put this box just because it's 2-in-1, and me putting 2 separate boxes is almost the same size as this one, so it'd be a lot easier just to put this one in. But anyway, that's pretty much an update since I haven't turned the camera on in like a day. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I'm gonna keep working away at the mounts, and I'm kind of stuck for tonight. Kind of pretty much did all I could for tonight until I get some more angle iron, or angled aluminum I mean, so I can mount that servo, because I can't really mount anything else until I know exactly where this servo is going to be, which it's going to be somewhere about right there. But I need to have it fully mounted, that way I can see where all the brake levers, and I already see the problem right there. You can see the problem. Yeah, it's going to be a tight fit to try to make everything fit, but we're going to make it happen. And for you it's only going to be a couple seconds. For me it's probably going to be tomorrow or the next day. Well, it's tomorrow, and as you see, the big battery box slash receiver box that I wanted to use isn't going to work out, so we scavenged through some more Truggy and Kyosho stuff and came up with what I believe they use as their battery box. So obviously I had a couple Truggies and stole both the battery boxes because the receiver box is a little bit too big and has a bunch of extra stuff that wouldn't really work out. So yeah, I also didn't get to use this gas tank. This is probably what I'm gonna end up using. As you see, it's all kind of just chilling in there, just so I can get an idea of the layout before I start placing stuff. But you can also see I made a mount, and it's not out of aluminum. It actually made more sense just to make it out of metal, because I'm gonna end up cutting a bunch of it away to make it lighter, so it's just easier. That way I can just weld it right there, and it's a ready to go mount. And yeah, as for everything else, it's pretty much going to be sitting pretty much where it is. Obviously it'll be mounted, but then the last thing will be an exhaust mount, and then we can start going on to adding the rest of the bars for the top and getting on to the back, finishing up the fab work, finishing up this video. Alright, so not much progress tonight, but a little bit of progress. More was me scratching my head some more, trying to debate on how I wanted to figure and lay out everything. And as you see, we got this is going to be the receiver box. Obviously we got the throttle servo, steering servo. We're just going to mount the gas tank, and I already checked with the customer to make sure everything was okay. Where'd my other box go? Oh, that's probably what fell back there. But I have another one of these receiver boxes that apparently fell behind my bench. But I'm going to end up putting it in the back, just because if I try to put it up here, it just looks too cluttered. It looks like it's all kind of jammed in there, and it doesn't look good, and I don't want to do that. So I messaged the customer real quick and asked him if it was okay if I put the battery box in the back. When I redo the back, I'm going to put it right back here, and he'll just have to run an extension for the battery, which isn't really all that big of a deal, but I wanted to make sure with him to make sure it was okay, and he gave me the go ahead, so that's what we're going to do. And as you see, I started going right ahead and started mounting stuff. We got the box mounted, so now I just got to come up with the gas tank, and I already caught myself. I was trying to make it easier to fill by making it so it lifts up that way and you can just come in the front and fill it, but unfortunately you can't see it, but the pickup for the tank is right here. It's actually right where that little circle is. So on mine, I messed up. I got a bunch of crap in the way, but yeah, we're supposed to be getting snow, but we're getting rain. But anyway, so on mine I screwed up, and I did that. I made it so I can fill it right up in the front, which makes it super easy to fill. But when you put it on a hill and all the gas goes towards the back and the pickup's in the front because you're an idiot, yeah, it kind of leans out, and it makes it so I pretty much have to keep my gas tank full all the time. So that's kind of annoying, which I could easily just flip my gas tank, but I haven't done that yet. Instead, we're building another sand rail. So for this one, I thought of that, and I also thought that how the chassis kind of has that lean, I think I'm going to pick up the gas tank a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but instead of leaving it like that, where all the fuel is going to be leaning towards the front, I think we're going to pick it up so it's a little more level, and then when it's going up a hill, all the fuel will be at the back, it'll be at the pickup, and it won't starve itself for fuel. So that's my kind of thinking on that, and I'll see you on another night for some more building. And another night in the shop, and yeah, we got some more done. So I did end up mounting the gas tank, even though I took the gas tank out to weld everything, or tack weld everything. But you can see there's two little mounts. Just drilled it through the servo mount, what I use for the servo mount. That's the pickup for the front of the tank. Then we got another one back here that's welded on, and there's a, it's hard to explain, but it's screwed on there. It does come off, so it is easy. If they for some reason break, you can just replace them. But yeah, so we got the gas tank mounted, and as you see, I tacked in the roof. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. I was going to put another bar across here just to make it look a little bit better, but I honestly don't want to keep adding weight to it for no reason other than looks. So I'm not going to do that, and we're going to leave it just the way it is. So we're going to start moving on to the back. So this is the part where I take a little break from filming and scratch my head some more and try to come up with what I did on mine. Is I went through here and I kind of snaked around, went through here and then went around, picked up the points from the skid plate, and then did the same thing on the other side, and then had two bars that came down. But I kind of want to do this one a little different. I'm going to try to do something that I did have on mine, and I ended up taking it off because, yeah, it broke. Well, it didn't break, but it was definitely going to break. And you can already guess where this is going, but we're going to see what happens. Stay tuned. Well, it is still snowing, and we got the back kind of tacked into place. I did have to do it out of two pieces, which I really was trying to avoid doing, but it was really hard trying to bend this all in one piece and trying to get all of the angles and all of the bends right. So I ended up cutting it in half and doing it in two parts, and then picked up the back points from the skid plate And as you see, I'm playing with a wing. We got a old, actually, it was the wing off the Kyosho Truggies. So it used to be a lot bigger, or these used to be a lot fatter. And I cut them down a lot just for the look that I wanted to go for, which is not a ginormous wing. It's not really on there for downforce purposes. It's more there for a look. And that's kind of what I'm going for. I do have to get some more 1/4 inch brake line and come up with something that's going to come down here and obviously make a wing mount, and that's going to pretty much finish up the fab work on the chassis. I do have some old sign. It's aluminum, so it's really light. I may or may not make some panels. I haven't really decided yet. I might make at least some side panels for it, and then we'll see about the roof. I was going to do another hood scoop thing, but I don't know if I'm going to do it on this one. I don't know. We'll see. If I do it, I like to do it a little bit different and maybe a little better. I mean, this one still looks awesome, but I don't know. Try to do something a little different. Stay tuned. See what happens. Well, I was an idiot and got all excited to start finish welding it, and took it all apart before I turned the camera back on. So I will put some pictures somewhere up there of what it looks like all together. But yeah, we're pretty much finishing up this build. I'm not going to really film any more of me finishing up all the welding and everything. That's kind of boring. Probably the next time you see this will be a reveal video of it all together and painted and ready to go off to its new home. So stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think of the build. Well, I'm not going to show all that much because I don't want to show the bottom color because the bottom of it's already painted, but you can see that it cleaned up pretty decent. So stay tuned, and you'll see it in the reveal video.